I got offered a job after 2 months of looking and probably about 300 submitted resumes. I finally got an offer at a company that I'm excited to work for. I did about 25 interviews and got ghosted or got the old pursue other candidates a lot. Just remember to don't give up, it'll happen eventually. Also, I'm glad I got to learn from the many interviews. I now feel very confident in my interview skills because I'm pretty sure I've gotten all the basic questions. Shoo, feels Edit. I don't mean to come off braggy, I'm just hoping to give everyone hope. Also, I used a lot of advice from this sub, so thank you all lots. Edit. Since a lot of you asked, it's a sales job, it's entry level because I'm 22, but it's also commission with good benefits and base pay more than I make now in just retail, so I'm excited for this new opportunity. Just 2 months. It took me almost a year. God, so many apps, so much crying. So much crying, oh my god, I hate it. How many applications did you submit in your attempt? It's not so much the duration, more so the quantity, obviously not disregarding the quality. I'm curious why it took nearly a year. 5 job apps per day would be the bare minimum I would aim for, but it's not a race and everyone has their own ways of doing it. I've been throwing myself a pity party just after a few failed interviews. A self-appeal after salesy, so after throwing a view Time to get back on the horse. Thanks for sharing this. It's nice to know that many people struggle with this. I'm so happy for you. 25 interviews is insane. You must be exhausted. Yeah, I'm tired of all these places doing second interviews. All the I'm tired. I've had some with 2 people in the first interview and then they ghosted. Or another one where I had this really technical first interview with 10 questions. Then the second interview was with the director where he asked nothing but hobby questions. I am in the middle of one with 6 interviews. 6. Wish I was joking. 2 recruiters, a manager on the other side of the country, 2 managers of the office I'd be working at, and finally F of the company. Honestly, I don't even want the job. I'm just desperate after a year and a half of looking. Last year, I had 4 interviews, 3 in person and 1 on Zoom with corporate for a server position at a restaurant. Ridiculous. It was a fine dining restaurant, but still like oof. While I can empathize with how you feel, think about it as a transaction. If you were in the market to buy a widget that cost $100 here, would you not want to do your due diligence and understand if that widget can do what it needs to do, as well as fitting within your existing processes and structures so that no major changes are needed? You were the widget. Any potential employer needs to figure out if you can do what you will need to do day to day. They also try to determine if you would fit within their corporate and team culture and structures in a way that won't cause too much disruption. Congrats. Any tips for someone who has a second interview next week? 2. I got ghosted also after another second interview. Really shitty feeling. Here is truly the easiest tip to yield high results. Please, everyone, do this. Take a piece of paper and draw a grid with 5 rows in a column for every role you've had. Row 1 failure. Due to success. Row 3 leader. Row 4 quality employee. to Industry 05 quality imported to your industry. Fill out just a 2-sentence story from each job you have had for each row. Category leave that near you during your call. Have a concise thought out to yeah, I'm with the other two of my ghosts were after second interview. What I learned is the one I got I was actually interested in the job, which I think probably helped. I also asked, when are you looking to get this position filled? Congrats up. I'm in the same boat, but for internships. Feels like I've submitted hundreds of applications and I finally got one for an amazing company. Send me all your good vibes. I've lost track of the applications I've sent. There has to be a way to professionally inform someone that ghosting is highly unprofessional. The fact that ghosting made it from the dating world to interviewing is absurd. What industry? Salasisics, 71K Agozels. I work in retail already, but it is for a smaller company. 4. Congrats, what field? Azalosis, I did 1K ago. Salesforce 6 reply share report save. Congratulations now. Show them they should have hired you long ago. Congrats, you've earned the right to brag and be proud of yourself. Does anyone else not want to go back to the office? Even if your company will offer 1-2 days of off each week. I am so much happier and productive at home, and I get an extra 2 hours to myself because I'm not commuting. Unfortunately, my company has told everyone to forget about permanent remote work and to prepare to go back to the office once vaccines are distributed. I realized my job can be done anywhere, and I might as well move to a nice, cheap suburb instead of continuing to stay in an expensive city. Even spending half the week working from home would not work for me because it still would force me to live close to work. This is something you have to bring up with your employer. If you have stats I answered more email checks, more sales, or anything other demonstrable metric, bring them up to your supervisor. More productivity may convince them. I already showed my employer the stats, but productivity alone was not able to convince. I think most of my coworkers don't want to go back to the office, and hopefully they speak up too. Good point. I wonder if the you allowed to if decision is made across the board by the CEO, or made on a case-by-case basis for each employee by their own manager, and other workers get jealous of you. Do you live with or support someone who is immunocompromised? The vaccine won't roll out in a day, and until it has broad coverage, those with immune problems are still at risk. See what constitutes a vulnerable worker at your work. No, they are paying you for your time, and they want to suck every bit of second from you. I don't know about others, but in our field, software development, our task can be very unpredictable. A task that you think would require 5 minutes might extend to days, and task you think would require days would only take 5 minutes. So there are high chances your task might complete sooner than expected. If that happens, then rest of the estimated time will be free. You can have me time. Sure, you can be free at office premise too, but you won't have your me time. You can watch videos and chill for rest of the day, but you will still be around people. You cannot leave early. You can notify the admin and leave, but if you frequently do it, it will definitely going to affect your appraisal, and you would be labeled as not a team player. So at home, you will have me time on the time they bought from you, and corporate cannot handle that. It has nothing to do with productivity, nothing to do with profit. They just want what they bought. Us suffering and not having time of our own. Over 6 hours ago, perfect. More work for you. 40 reply share report save. Same. Take solace in the fact that USA is having a slow vaccine distribution progress, especially if you are classified as younger in terms of getting the vaccine. 40 and under, 35 and under. Also, due to HIPAA privacy laws, can employers even ask you if you have or have not received the vaccine? For non-healthcare, non-first responder companies, I don't think it will matter if each individual has had the vaccine or not. If it is available to everyone, the people who want it will get it, and everyone will be back in the office regardless. Agreed 100. I never intend to go back to the office. Memapin 94.7 hours ago literally proved this past year that my job could be done without ever stepping foot inside an office. I'm going to ask my boss a second time about going permanently remote. I think a lot of my coworkers feel the same way. 48 reply share report say continue this thread. Same boat. I'm already working 1-2 days a week in the office. I'm actually here right now and it is just so much worse. I'm so drained by the end of the workday every time I have to go into the office and just deal with all the noise and distractions. I imagine this is going to be a really common feeling. I definitely get more done at home and I definitely do not miss the office politics or being social. I'm just here to grow the business, get paid and do a good job. Same. Once the pandemic is over, I feel like I have plenty of opportunities to be social with friends and family. I'm tired of paying to live in an expensive city as well. I'm working on getting a job that's fully remote like what I had last year. My new job initially told us that we have to come in 2 days a week. Well, last week it was announced that someone came down with the virus and we were asked to stay home last week and this week, and now they are saying to stay home until further notice. I don't feel comfortable or safe going back in when I can do my job just as effectively at home. I want to move to a cold area where I can save more money. Even with a vaccine, the vaccine doesn't stop the spread of the virus. There's a lot of unknowns. So what's the rush in getting people back into an office? Paranoid exploiter 7 hours ago. Just be prepared. Many companies calculate and adjust their salaries based on locality. So if you move to a cold area, they may want to adjust your salary down accordingly. It is about control. No amount of actual realized increase in production from stay-at-home work will ever trump the perceived benefit of in-person supervision and monitoring that corporations believe they have when their employees are physically in the office. Unfortunate, but predictable. That's what I'm guessing too. My company is more productive than ever staying home 5 days a week. But they want us back eventually because it is good for collaboration. That, and the fact that these places either own these huge buildings or lease them for like 10 years. Not many companies are going to want to waste all that money on office space. Of course they were gonna push for people to come back. I think you've 100 hit the underlying dynamic at play here, whether companies realize that's what it's about or not. In general, COVID has exposed how many aspects of our economy are completely arbitrary when it comes to actually being productive for the sake of running an efficient society, but crucial for maintaining certain hierarchies. If commuting isn't actually necessary, if working 9-5 meth every week is excessive, then employers lose a lot of power over our lives. I've never been healthier, ironically. Skipping my hour-plus commute and morning routine has let me sleep in an extra 2 hours per day. Now I get up normal early instead of pre-rooster. Memapin 94 7 hours. Aga lost weight working from home 498. Reply share report save continue this thread. I detest working from home. It's the principle of it. My home is my sanctuary, not the place where I read my cunty boss's latest dictates. Agreed. Home is sweet and where I rest. Office is where you get the job done. Andreid 4 hours ago same. It was nice at first, but now I hate it too. Reply share report save. I may well start looking for a new job if we get forced into going in more than twice a week. Quality of life. Not stressing out 10 hours a week in a car is huge compared to a few more bucks. That's what I'm doing now. The job market seems extra competitive now, since not only are unemployed people are looking for jobs, but people like me looking for permanent remote work while they are employed. I'm not going back. I'm already actively searching for an employer who's okay with off. Memapin 94 7 hours ago doing the same thing. Lol 8 reply share report save. In a slightly different situation, my company was building a new headquarters that was supposed to be move-in ready by now last year. The location is actually within 2 miles at the most, and before COVID I was very much looking forward to that new commute. At this point, we are returning to the new office around June and working every other week from home. I used to think never be productive off before 2020 happened, but when it is the only option I learned real fast how to be productive and ignore the distractions. I'm kind of meh with going back. I miss the working relationships I had, but I also like just rolling out of bed into the office. Not to mention my wife making breakfast, which was a meal I previously ignored. I'm the opposite. I can't wait to go back to the office. Yes, the flexibility and not dealing with commute is great, but I'm not as productive at home and I miss the interaction of coworkers and leaving the house. My company is telling us we won't go back to the office until at least September. Then when we do go back, we'll get 1-2 days to work from home every week. I hated it when they made me go back in the office in September too. Life was so much less stressful working from home. I'm a single mom and it made so much more sense for me. Now I spend 2 hours a day minimum driving again. I love if I was hired during the pandemic. So it has always been this way with this job. Eventually we will have to go back and it is not good. I got to see the workspace when I went to get my I-9 verified. A cute farm with low walls, no privacy. Right now I have no commute. I can get multiple cups of coffee without having to chat with people in the kitchen. I save money because I make my lunch at home. I can grab a snack if I need to. During lunch, I can put my feet up and watch an episode of whatever I'm into on Netflix. I am getting work done so quickly that my boss says she can't keep up with me. That is not the case at an office, where it is hard to concentrate with noise and chatter. Not looking forward to going back. I'm going to try to negotiate off. I have been doing a lot of security workshops with corporate leaders in the last year. I asked them all what their plans were before, during, and after COVID. 95 of them were all in office before COVID. 75 of them are all remote except for essential employees during COVID. 10 of them are all remote, period. Another 10 are cycling people in and out of the office as needed, but everyone else is remote. 80 of the companies are planning on having a blended work-from-home solution after COVID. 10 of them anticipate going back to everyone in office. 5 plan on going totally remote. The rest are unsure. The point of me saying this is that COVID has changed many organizations' perception of remote work. Some are not going to change, but many are. My advice to you would be to communicate with your manager. Show them your production and how it has increased. What are your measurements for success? If you have things you are measured against, and you can show increased productivity, then show that. If your company says that they won't consider it or won't do it, then you can look at other organizations and go work for someone who embraces work from home. My advice would be to not make any job changes yet though. Some companies will say they like work from home and then they will bring everyone back in the office as soon as they can. You are going to want to wait until the end of the year to see if the company has an established work from home policy.
Like and subscribe for more Reddit content. Watch the next video at the top of your screen.